Hey everyone, this is Marcus, and just wanted to update you on what's going on. I flew in from Bogota yesterday, and it was a really good flight. I left Bogota at around 1:21. That's when our plane was supposed to have departed, but it was a delay at the airport, so I took Viva Air, and when I got to the terminal, it was about an hour delay, so the plane didn't come in immediately and had a good flight from Bogota to Medellin. When I was in Bogota, I stayed in Candelaria. That's something to check out when you're traveling there. It's a small area. I have to check on a map, but I think it's north of Bogota. But it's a small area. It's near the university, and you're near Montserrat. And Montserrat is this church that's up on top of a hill, and it's overlooking Bogota. It's a really a neat place to check out in your travels. You'll take a cable car up. They have a train that goes up there, but the train wasn't in operation, and so they were doing some repairs on the train. Or you can walk up. I knew some people that I was with at the hostel. They said they walked up. It took them about an hour or so to walk up, but it's really nice, and it's really a forestry area. And there are a couple of universities that are in the area over there. So you'll see there's full of students who are everywhere. But when you get to that area, there's a path to take, and you can just walk on up. And it takes a while, and it's a pretty steep climb, but they designed it for you to be able to have a nice walk up. I stayed at the Messiah Hostel, and that's a really good hostel. It's in the Candelaria area. It's near the university, and there's people coming and going all the time. I met so many people, made so many friends over there, and from all over the world, and I met many people from the United States. They come down, and they're heading out to, like, I knew some people who they were coming from or going to Peru, and then they were heading on down to Argentina. Others, they were coming from there and heading out to another location. And many had already said they were traveling for 6 months. I knew a guy from Switzerland. He said that he had left his job, and he had come down, and he had been traveling since maybe July or something like that. He said he'd been traveling for a long time, and it was a good transition for him. So I think that when I was there the next day, we did something all day. I think we were on the tour. They have walking tours, but he went ahead and left and went on back to Switzerland. But one of the highlights of the trip that I enjoyed in Bogota, and something to consider if you stay at the Messiah Hostel, and the reason I say the Messiah Hostel is because they're in touch with everything that's going on for that area in Bogota, and they have these things called walking tours. And when you do the walking tours, you have a chance to learn about the history of Bogota. They walk you through the areas. They have biking tours, walking tours. I went on a general walking tour, and we met at the Gold Museum. And once you go with your hostel to the group, once you go with your hostel to meet down the downtown area, there's another large group of people, and what they do is they divide up and ask you, would you like to go to, for example, the graffiti tour, the War and Peace tour? I went on the general walking tour, and that was really neat. But the War and Peace tour is really interesting because they get into just the politics of Bogota, the narco trafficking things that took place, the politicians who were rebellious, and they had their own agenda as far as city government goes. It's really interesting, and I'd highly recommend it. The graffiti tour is really neat. You can go through the neighborhoods and see the different forms of graffiti, and that I hear a lot. That's really good. I had a chance to go to the Gold Museum, and the Gold Museum was really neat. Lots of gold there, and just a lot of history on Colombia, how things got going, and that was really neat. In the area where the Gold Museum is located is it's a massively large area, and at the time, there were just people everywhere, and that's one thing I liked about Bogota. There were so many people who were out, and it was not dominated by just cars, but people were out walking, and they were in the business area. So, but that was enjoyable. So, anyway, the weather was really good in Bogota. There were times that it rained on and off, but I saw that when I left, it started hailing for a long time, lots of hail. So I just missed that, and my friend and I, Kat, we were out walking around. Kat, she's from Germany, but we were walking around, and we got caught in a downpour because we were coming from the Gold Museum, but she wanted to see like the largest church in Bogota or something of that nature. So we went ahead and we tried to go over there, but we got caught in the downpour. So we stopped at a really interesting place just to stand in the doorway, and we stood in the doorway waiting for the rain to stop. And what happened was that the security guard, he said, well, why don't you come on in here and just wait? And so we walked in, and there was this open area full of plants with the rain still falling in that area. But it was some type of a Catholic museum. But we went on the side and sat in the chairs and just watched the rain, just let it come down. And we just waited for it to get over with because we were soaking wet. And so I said, wait a minute, Kat, let me take a look. So I peeked in and I saw some Catholic paintings. It was a really interesting place. I don't know the name of it, but it wasn't too far from the library downtown. So we left there. We went back. We ran back in the rain, drenched. We probably had to walk about 10 minutes from where we were staying. And so we went back to the hostel. Also, I had a chance to go. Whenever I go to the city, I like to go to the library and just kind of get a feel of what's going on in the city, because the libraries are always a central place to go to get information. So I went down there and I had a chance to just look around and check things out, and you get a feel of the city, the beat of the city, what's going on, a lot of students in and out. And that was a really good experience. I really enjoyed the library, and I just asked them where the books were, and they showed me it was like upstairs, and I just kind of just looked around, browsed around, and then I came back and I poked my head into this room that was, I think it was like some kind of an event music room, and I looked in, I saw a wall, and they had all these performers on the walls who were very serious musicians. I mean, they were professionals, and they were scheduled. The wall would show their dates and times when they were going to be in Bogota. It was really neat because I thought that, man, you don't see this kind of thing unless they're touring on a college campus. But there were a lot of people out there who were professionals, and there were groups, individuals, and they were professional singers, and it was really good to see when they would come to town. You have a chance to go and see them. And so culturally, Bogota is a really neat place to visit. I really liked Bogota. I really did, because it reminds me of Seattle, reminds me of Portland. And people, they'll go to Bogota and say, oh, I don't like Bogota because it's, the weather, it's cold. But I really liked it because it was culturally, there was so much information to understand what had happened. As of recently, I'm talking about as of the 80s and 90s, and even further back, of course. But I really enjoyed Bogota. And Bogota just reminded me of Seattle, and just that environment reminded me of Portland. And so it was a good time there. And there's something constantly going on in the city. Something constantly. While we were touring on our walking tour, they had a swearing-in ceremony for women policewomen who were stepping over into the career as a police woman, as police women, and as well as the military as well. So it was kind of like a combined service, and they were blowing horns, and they had speeches, but the whole area was sectioned off, so we couldn't quite get over there. And then the following day, which was yesterday, they had a ceremony for the men. So it was really good. And that's about it. But I'm in Medellin right now, and the weather right now it's been raining a lot, heavy, and I was going to go out and get some really good food yesterday. I'm over in Poblado, and yesterday the weather was just, I was going on my way to get this food that was not far from where I'm staying. It was recommended by the director of the hostel here, and I was on my way, and it started raining really bad, and I just couldn't go any further. I only went like a block or so, if that, maybe a half a block, and it just started coming down. People, they kept going, and it was just a downpour. And so the weather right now has been really rainy, and I haven't had a chance to really get out and do a whole lot here. So I'm just going to hang here and just take care of some general things, and then after that I'm going to see if I can poke my head out at the hostel and see how the weather is, and then just take it from there. Hey, we'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.